Hey guys, it's Shane here. I'm 29 and work as an electrician, and I've got a wild story to share that's gonna show you how standing up for yourself can completely transform your life. I come from a family of three kids. My older sister Jolene, who's 34, was always the golden child. Mom doted on her like she was made of glass, while my brother Travis, 32, and I kind of took a back seat. It was obvious to everyone in the family. Jolene got a car on her 16th birthday, while Travis and I had to share rides in Mom's minivan until we could afford our own wheels. Mom just had this blind spot when it came to Jolene, thinking she could do no wrong. And if you ever pushed back against Jolene's demands, you were the selfish one. I learned to deal with it. After high school, I went to trade school, became an electrician, and built a decent life for myself. I bought a small house about 40 minutes from Mom's place, got a dog named Captain, the best dog ever, and settled into a quiet, stable routine. But my dating life was a different story. I had a rough breakup with Paige about 2.5 years ago. She left me for some guy she met at a CrossFit gym. Ouch, right? I spent the next year and a half just working, coming home, having dinner with Captain, and binge watching true crime documentaries. Then, about 2 months before this whole crazy thing happened, I met Chloe. She was a vet tech at the clinic where I took Captain for checkups. I made some dumb joke about Captain needing a promotion, and she laughed. Something just clicked. We talked for like 20 minutes in the lobby while Captain tried to eat a pamphlet about heartworm prevention. Before I left, she gave me her number on the back of a business card. I felt like a teenager again. We texted back and forth for weeks, having these easy, natural conversations. She was funny, sharp, and actually interested in me, which after Paige was like a breath of fresh air. Eventually, I asked her out to dinner at this Italian place downtown called Roseless. She said yes, and I made a reservation for Saturday night at 7:30. Now, let me tell you about Jolene. She has 3 kids. Brody is 7, Leia is 5, and the baby Mason is 18 months. Her husband Derek is a long-haul trucker, so he's gone a lot. I get that being a mom of 3 with a husband on the road is tough, and I've helped her out plenty of times. I've watched the kids on weeknights so she could go to her book club, picked Brody up from soccer practice, and done grocery runs for her when she was overwhelmed. But here's the catch. Helping out with Jolene isn't a favor. It's an expectation. She doesn't ask, she tells. And if you say no, she gets not just disappointed, but offended like you've personally insulted her. Then she calls Mom, and Mom calls you, and suddenly you're the bad guy in a story you didn't even know was being written. So it's that Saturday, my first date in 2 years. I've showered, trimmed my beard, and put on a shirt without a logo, which for me is like dressing up in a tux. I'm in my bathroom, giving myself this big pep talk that would make a high school football coach proud. I'm telling myself, you're a grown man. You've rewired entire buildings. You can sit across from a pretty woman and eat pasta without embarrassing yourself. Captain's sitting behind me, looking totally unimpressed. At 7:10, my phone rings. It's Jolene. Hey, Shane, I need a huge favor. Derek got called out for an extra run, and I just got invited to Meredith's birthday thing downtown. I'm dropping all 3 kids off at your place. I'll be there in like 20 minutes. She's not asking. She's telling me on a Saturday night with 20 minutes notice. I take a deep breath and say, Jolene, I can't tonight. I have plans. There's this long pause, the kind you get when you tell someone who's used to getting their way but they can't have it. She says, plans? What plans? You never have plans. That stung a bit because it was kind of true. I didn't usually have plans on Saturdays, but I did that night. I told her, I have a date, actually. Dinner reservation at 7:30. I'm literally about to walk out the door. She laughs this dismissive laugh and says, Shane, come on. I'm sure she understand. Just reschedule. I really need this. Meredith's thing is a big deal, and I already told her I'm coming. I tell her, then you should have lined up a sitter before you told her that. She hangs up on me, just like that. No goodbye, no negotiation. I look at Captain and say, that went well. I grab my keys, head out, drive to Rosselli's and meet Chloe, and it was one of the best nights I'd had in years. We had great food. She ordered the mushroom risotto, I got the chicken parm, and we split a tiramisu. She told me this hilarious story about a parrot at the clinic that learned to say code blue and caused a full evacuation of the waiting room. I laughed so hard I almost choked on my bread. But the whole time, my phone's lighting up in my pocket. I'd put it on silent, but I could feel it buzzing. I didn't look at it once. I was determined to enjoy my night. After I dropped Chloe off at her apartment, I finally checked my phone. My stomach drops. I have 23 missed calls, 14 texts, and voicemail from Mom that starts with, "Shane Michael, I am so disappointed in you." I scroll through the text. Jolene's texts start off annoyed, then turn dramatic. And finally, she goes nuclear, saying she had to cancel on Meredith because of me and that Mom agrees I'm being selfish. Mom's texts are calm but guilt-tripping, saying I should have been there for my sister. Travis texts me, telling me to just apologize and move on, not taking a real stand. I don't apologize. I text Mom back, saying I had plans, Jolene didn't ask, and that I was setting a boundary. I turn my phone off and drive home. Sunday morning, I turn it back on, and there are 16 more messages. There's this group chat I didn't even know existed, and it's like a family tribunal. Everyone's weighing in, saying I'm cold-hearted and that Jolene is drowning with 3 kids, and I couldn't sacrifice one evening to help. Nobody mentions it was my first date in 2 years or that she gave me 20 minutes notice. I call Travis. He tries to get me to smooth things over, but I tell him I'm done being the path of least resistance. I go to work on Monday, but my phone keeps buzzing. Mom calls twice. The first voicemail is soft and pleading. The second is more accusatory, saying my silent treatment is childish. That evening, Jolene sends me this long, manipulative text. She says she doesn't know what she did to make me hate her, that she's doing her best with the kids, and that Mom's been crying because of what I said. I read it 3 times. The first time, I feel guilty. The second time, angry. The third time, I realize she's just trying to manipulate me. She doesn't apologize for her demands. She just plays the victim. I don't respond. I focus on my life. I call Chloe, tell her what's going on, and she gives me this amazing advice. She says I don't owe anyone an apology for having boundaries, and that the people who love me will respect them. We go on more dates, a second, third, and fourth. Things with Chloe are getting really serious. At work, my boss Greg has been hinting that he wants me to take on more responsibility. I've always hesitated, but after all this family stuff, I decide to go for it. I take on a supervisor role, get a raise, and a company truck that Captain loves. I start managing a crew of 4 guys on commercial projects, and I'm actually good at it because I make sure everyone on the crew feels valued. My buddy Nate from the basketball league invites me to work out with him in the mornings at a gym near my house. I start going and it helps me mentally and physically. About 6 weeks after that Saturday night, Travis calls me. He says he's sorry he didn't have my back and that he thinks I was right about Jolene. He also tells me that Jolene's been struggling, with Derek gone more than usual and the kids being a handful. Mom's been over at her place 4 or 5 days a week and is exhausted. Then, about 2 months after the initial incident, something crazy happens. I come home from work and see a notification on a social media app I barely use. Jolene has written a long public post. It's one of those grateful for my village posts, but it's really about how some family members turned their backs on her when she needed them. She doesn't name me, but everyone knows it's about me. She twists the story, leaving out the 20-minute notice, the demands, and makes it sound like I was heartless. The post has 47 likes and a bunch of supportive comments. My first reaction is rage. But then I realize this is my chance to tell the truth. I go back through my phone and pull up every text conversation I've had with Jolene over the past 3 years. There are dozens of texts where she demands help, never asks. I show the text to Chloe, and she's shocked at how Jolene has been treating me. I write a post. The first draft is too angry, the second is too long, but the third is just right. I lay out exactly what happened that Saturday night, including the timeline, the fact that it was my first date in 2 years, and how she turned the family against me. I attach key screenshots of her texts, like the one where she says, I'm dropping off all 3 kids. Figure it out. I sit on the post for 2 days, reread it 50 times, and ask Chloe and Travis what they think. Travis says if I post it, everything will change. I say, good. On a Thursday night at 9 o'clock, I post it publicly. Tag nobody. By midnight, I can't resist checking my phone. The post has exploded. Over 200 reactions, dozens of comments, and almost everyone is on my side. People are furious at Jolene, including family members, friends of friends, and even some of her own friends. My phone starts buzzing with messages from Aunt Denise, who apologizes for judging me, and from cousin Rachel, who says she had no idea Jolene was lying. Mom texts me at 12:17 in the morning, asking me to take the post down. I smile and go to bed. The next morning, the post has crossed 400 reactions. There are comments from people I haven't spoken to since high school, coworkers, neighbors. Even a woman named Diane, who goes to book club with Jolene, says Jolene talks about me like I'm her personal assistant. Mom calls me in the morning. First, she demands I take the post down, but then her tone changes. She says she wants to talk, not about taking it down, but just to talk. I call her and she says she read my post and saw the screenshots. She finally realizes she's been too focused on Jolene and neglected me. She invites me to dinner, just me and her, and says I can bring Chloe. Jolene doesn't call me for almost 2 weeks. When she finally does, we meet at a coffee shop. She looks really tired, not the fake tired she sometimes puts on. She apologizes, saying she took me for granted and that she lied to the family. She asks if I'll take the post down. And I say I will if she corrects the record with the people she lied to. She agrees, and I take the post down that night. That was about 5 months ago. Things aren't perfect. Jolene and I aren't best friends, but she's changed. She asks for help now instead of telling me, and she says, thank you. She's seeing a therapist, which is a good thing. Mom is making more of an effort with me, and she adores Chloe. Chloe moved in with me about 2 months ago, and Captain is in heaven because she gives great belly rubs. I got another promotion at work, and I'm leading a crew on a major hospital renovation project. So, if you're in a situation where your family takes you for granted, where they think you're always available because you're reliable, remember, you have the right to say no. You have the right to have your own life. Standing up for yourself can be scary, but it can also lead to some amazing changes, just like it did for me.